Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 8:56 a.m. on the 19th of November 2024. It's a gorgeous morning, excuse me, but it rained all night long. Ask me how I know. I was awake on and off all night long. and But it was a lovely, good, solid, steady rain, and it was still raining this morning when I woke up at 7. And I'm freaking out about the fact that I wake up so early now and that my body's changing shape and that I'm metamorphosing into a new version of Tanya. And it's a bit astonishing. Not sure if it's because of the fact that my body is responding to, at long last, to the CPAP treatment. I mean, I feel like hell still most days, but when did I start CPAP? 4th of July, American Independence Day. So it's that July, August, September, October, November. You're just creeping up 4.5 months. So. But my body, I can see my body's changing shape slightly, and it's probably also contributed to my wild, crazy moshing dance every Friday night, which takes a lot of physical reserves and energy that I pour into it, and physical, mental, and spiritual, and at times emotional. So I'm healing. I'm healing myself. I'll just read out to you what I wrote down as a status update on my Facebook. Since I'm not reading my journal entries anymore, you're not getting the latest musings and writings from the Tanya, because I completed that 365 day cycle. But I'll just share this because it's a tad astonishing, actually. So I posted a picture of my coffee tree, which is in full bloom. You can't really see it, it's kind of blurred out when it reflects back on my laptop, but there's all lovely white flowers all over it. And there'll be coffee berries, but I don't really do much with them because it's a lot of work transforming them into actual coffee. But there's so many, I kind of might get inspired to do it because why not? It's a resource that I deliberately planted in the garden, am I right? But and there's nothing more magical than your own homegrown coffee grounds grown from your own tree on your own, well, my rental land that I rent here from the government. There's a certain potency and magic behind that it's raw and it's natural and it's created by your own hands. But it's a shit ton of work. But anyway, so inspired by that, I wrote this down. My coffee tree is in full lustrous bloom. It rained all night and this morning, but the garden is singing, "It's a wonderful world." And we are all happy at Sacred Space, especially Charlie. She literally demanded to be on my shoulder first thing this morning, which she's not normally all that bothered, but she was full of enthusiasm this morning. My neck is slightly improved after I spritzed myself with magnesium oil. I spritzed my legs and arms as well. I was up peeing 3 times during the night, which is kind of a not a bad night. I used to be up, 8 to 20 times, but I've been getting away with just getting up once a night in recent weeks. So it was a bad night like last night, but not really. In the broad scheme of things, it was okay. But I had insomnia during the night too, so I was awake quite a bit. Anyway, I was up peeing 3 times during the night. But I drank a lot of water late in the evening as I felt overheated and dehydrated. So there is that. I'm not supposed to drink fluids after 7 or 8 p.m. And I knew it was a silly thing to do because, it was late in the evening, but I just had to. I was thirsty. So what goes in must come out, am I right? Anyway, awkward, but that's my reality now. I have to even carefully pass out how much I drink late in the evenings like a fucking child. Dear goddess. But anyway. But I woke up at 7, so that too was astonishing given the broken sleep during the night. I gave up and Facebooked between 2 and 3 a.m. Lol. I'm healing myself in rather astonishing, quirky ways. But whatever works, am I right? I'm learning to live in this body in different ways. It's changing shape, and I'm a tad freaked out about that too. I went to Aldi yesterday, Arvo, to buy some food and caught a man staring at me with what surpassed for lustful intent. I've seen him there before at Aldi staring at me. It's getting a bit weird. I think he's married too, the cheeky bastard. Anyway, I just give, my usual resting bitch face to say, what are you looking at? Like I'm not rude, but I'm not engaging. So went about my business. I just blankly stared back, then got on with checking myself out. But I guess I looked pretty as I wore my halter neck sundress, and I had my hair flying everywhere and was in a great anticipatory haste to get out of there. I hate supermarkets. I hate shopping for food. It's one of my major triggers, actually. I had dropped various items on the floor. I hate self-checking out, which I kind of had to because all the checkouts were busy, and so that was irritating beyond belief too. So I mutter, fuck it. So I must have been quite an astonishing sight, looking all sweet in my little 50s cupcake designed halter neck dress that my daughter actually bought for me, and swearing like a sailor, throwing food everywhere, putting things through the machine, and maybe he wasn't staring at me because I looked pretty, maybe he was staring at me because I looked crazy. Could go either way, Mama T's world. Anyway, I get too many appreciative and or leering looks now, which means I'm looking more attractive, and that too freaks me out. I kept myself looking uglier, plainer, less winsome for decades, and now I have to get used to the fact that at this ridiculously late stage of my life, my looks are blossoming. It's a bit astonishing, people of Earth. And I don't even think it's really about my looks per se, because I look the same as I did 13 years ago, more or less. But it's my energy, something in my spirit or my soul has shifted in. And I think it's because, I'm wanting a partner. But I'm also keeping all potential partners at bay because trust issues, decades of trauma, long time abuse dynamics. So it's kind of like pedaling on one of those paddle boats that you have to pedal on a lake somewhere, trying not to fucking drown, am I right? But there is a shift in me that I'm inviting the potentiates of real love for the first time in my life. And, it was prophesied 30 years ago that I would meet someone in my 60th year, or I would begin a partnership in round about the age 60. I'm pretty sure they said 60th year, which is weird because I'm 59, so I'm in my 60th year. But that hasn't happened. However, the attention, and even men in supermarkets looking at me like this, has been astonishing and hard to get used to because I'm not used to it. Like, I haven't had that level of attention on such a grand scale, really, since I was 17. And I didn't handle it well when I was 17 either. What did I do as a knee-jerk reaction? Found my first boyfriend and married it to feel safe and off the menu from other men. Well, now I don't have that option of just marrying just any old bozo because I'm not young anymore and I'm too traumatised, and I'm also not that stupid. I hope not anyway. So I've had, in recent years, had to just carefully manage unwelcome attentions from men. Sometimes not so carefully. Sometimes I literally had to fling them off me like a brick shithouse. Well, I guess that kind of started back in 2012, 13 when I was out dancing, after the Evil Bull dispute. I was a lot more self-protective and vigorously flinging men off, and now I only fling them off if they actually, touch me or inappropriately, like that Indian guy in the club a few weeks ago slathering right underneath me. Then I might get a bit aggressive then, but I'm not as aggressive as I used to be when I was, 47, 48, 49, 50. So that too is a shift that I'm a little bit more indulgent, and that's a huge leap actually, because given all the sexual assaults I experienced right up until, turning 50, it's astonishing that I'm even blooming and blossoming again and allowing the possibility of real, wholesome, loyal, faithful, devoted love. So I don't know who that person is or when it's going to manifest, but it's so close and it's just so heartfelt and so sweet. And I do, because I'm a shaman, I do pick up energies from my male friends, my men friends who adore me. They all adore me. It's all very platonic because they've all got partners, or they're married, or they're unavailable for other reasons. But I witnessed it again on Friday night, how sweetly and mischievously at times, how much I'm loved. And you know what? I let me just finish off this reading because I segue, but let me just finish it off. I have to get used to the fact that at this ridiculously late stage of my life, my looks are blossoming, my heart is blooming, and I am flowering in rather astonishing ways, and people see it. Even strangers in supermarkets. But Jesus, so that finishes that piece of writing. So what I want to say about all of that I'm coming back into my full sexuality, which is terrifying for me because I suppressed it for a long time. Well, I thought I'd suppressed it, let's put it that way. I mean, my psychiatrist tells me that I'm erotic and sensuous, and I just look at him in astonishment because I've never viewed myself that way. I always viewed myself as a warrior goddess who's repressed and suppressed her sexuality to keep herself safe, and although I dress in rather unusual ways with my corsets, they're kind of my Bodicene armouring of like, don't fuck with me, motherfuckers. And I never saw it as a kind of a sexual lure actually, but it's shifted into a kind of a sexual lure, which I'm also having to now manage because I never had that problem before when I dressed in my corsets. It was almost that people were so astonished they would be like, keep that little bit of distance. Anyway, So I want to thank all the people in my real lived experience, in my real world that I see regularly over the many decades. And let's start with the ones that I see in the music scene for the last 14 years. Ness, Jerness Dougie, Juddy Jeffs, Luke, Nathan and Ramjet, Alter Egos, Scott, Paulie, Luke, all the people at the Brooklyn Standard in the last 15 months since I've danced there regularly, but I used to dance there on occasion, over the last few years. But all those people who have been so kind and sweet to me and encouraging of me in my weird, quirky ways. I won't name you individually, but you know who you are. The sweet ones that have had my back and encouraged and motivated me. And it's been a long, hard grind the last 15 months since Beauregard's death. You know, I literally was healing from that grief, simultaneously growing myself back, and it's been an intense metamorphosis. And now I have to calibrate and manage the fact that I'm happier now. I have a different energy. My body's even changing, probably from 12 months of constant peeing all night, flushing everything out of me, but my body's even changing shape. And I'm more powerful spiritually than I've ever been in my life, which has also been astonishing to come to that gnosis and to try and surf. As a shaman, you do have to surf those kind of psychic and spiritual and metaphysical supercharges, and sometimes spiraling down into the abyss too. It's part of the complex PTSD attributes that it means that you have to manage emotions, mental states, and energy. And sometimes it gets overwhelming when I'm overwhelmed and inundated with too many other people's energies. It can lead to breakdowns, and it's a common thing amongst shamans to be calibrating not just their physical and emotional, mental, but the spiritual as well. I don't claim, by the way, to be a shaman in the sense of the Siberian or shamans who have lineage and many, many years of training. I'm not that kind of a shaman, but I have the shamanic. I have the right to call myself a shaman, actually. It took me a long time to start even using that word as a label for myself because of all the many, many, many near deaths, even in early childhood, and the epic child abuse and all the things I survived. And it was actually another shaman in the shamanism group that said to me, by definition, although you don't have the lineage and the training, you are a shaman. Your training has been undertaken literally just by your merest survival and your spirituality and your own coming to your own gnosis. So you are actually a shaman, Tanya. And even then I was like, no, I was in kind of denial about it. But the last 3 years or so I realised, I thought, no, I can't escape. I can't escape my own brand of magic. I can't escape my spirit walk. I can't escape my ancestors that love me, who in recent months you've seen me on my YouTube videos start randomly talking to voices which looks batshit fucking crazy, looks schizophrenic, but actually isn't, because my mediumship abilities have simultaneously with this metamorphosis has just kind of been blown off, and that happened, that really started to blow up after the night of the 10th and 11th of July when I fucking nearly died again with the CPAP mask being turned off and sucking in all my own CO2. So it's been an astonishing few months, frightening few months. I got dogged by great, great evil as well, you know, including a brawl in the club and, you know, all these other series of unfortunate events that I was talking about in the video yesterday. And my spirit people have been telling, oh, Charlie, don't bite me, have been telling me for weeks, the tribulations are over, Tanya, the tribulations are over. And I've been so mortified and terrified of any more evil shit happening to me because it's been bang, 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 bang since the 10th and 11th of July that I haven't been trusting in that. So yesterday I got news that the tribulations are indeed over. And how do I know that? My handsome, talented friend Juddy Jeffs of Ramjet is going to be back performing at the Brooklyn Standard on Friday night. He's been performing, you know, in the past few weeks. And to be fair, I was terrified for him because I didn't know he was well enough to be back yet. But I messaged him a few days ago and he got back to me yesterday and he said, yes, he's better now and he's going to be performing on Friday and will I be there? And I said, absolutely. So this is huge, huge signpost that the tribulations are over because he went into semi-retirement on the 25th of July with his health issues and I was terrified for him. But as a shaman and as a true friend also, I poured a lot of energy into him and by the grace of his gods and his wonderful doctors and the energy we all poured into him at that night on the 25th of July when we had the goodbye party for him to go into semi-retirement. We all poured, all of us, all the bands, all his friends and all the bands and all his regular customers and dancers like myself, we all poured so much energy into him and because we love him and we love all our friends. But you know, it was a scary time actually. I was very scared and worried because, you know, some things are up to the individual and some things are in the lap of the gods. And as I said, I don't claim to be that kind of shaman to have those kind of powers that can heal everything. But my beautiful Juddy is back on deck on Friday and I'm so excited and happy and I'll be dancing with his band as I do every fortnight. And I'm so happy to have him back and I'm sad to see Timmy probably, you know, who replaced Juddy. I'll be sad to not see him for a long while, but he's a lovely man too. But it'll just be nice to have Juddy back too. So, but I love you all. I love you all. And thank you, Timmy, for stepping into that breach while Juddy was recovering. And I appreciate you too. I appreciate you all, what you give to us customers in the Brooklyn Standard and the other gigs because your music and my mad frenetic dancing is responsible for not just my own healing, but some of you have benefited from it too. And we have together as a collective healed each other in many, many remarkable, astonishing ways, including the sweetness and the affection and the devotion and the love flow to me from my friends. And literally, you've blown life back into Soul Girl, and you've made me feel beautiful and desirable, and I want to cry. You've made me feel worthy of true and great love, and it's a more potent and powerful love than any sexual frottering I might have indulged in with some lackluster fake men like I had in the past 10 years ago. And you've treated me with such honour and kindness, and even the occasional flirting, which normally I would not encourage. I would have, chopped you all off at your knees. Even that has helped to conflagrate the Tanya. And even my psychiatrist, who I said I should slap on the side of Sunday for saying that I'm sensual, but I'm not actually mad at him. He's contributed to the blossoming too, in his professional capacity as my doctor. And even my young urologist, who's roughly my daughter's age, mid-30s or mid to late 30s, telling me last year when I thought I was fucking cactus and going to die, "Where did you get that idea from, Tanya?" she said. "You've got time." And that too was a great healing, because I was convinced that time had run out for me and it was all over, Red Rover, and I was going to die from this bladder. And although my bladder is still not great, and as I said, I was up 3 times last night, and I have still bad nights with it, it's better than it was. And both my psychiatrist and my beautiful, talented urologist have been proven right that CPAP would improve the bladder. I'm not out of the woods yet. I'm still worried that I may actually have to resort to the Botox treatment that I'm very, very terrified of and hesitant about and trying to avoid. So I'm not out of the woods yet, but there's been an astonishing healing in many varied ways, and the biggest healing of all was the love that I have received from all of you, and not just my doctors I mentioned, but the bands, the music scene, my close, intimate, very close friends, Jared and Lynn and Sally, and others who have invested so heavily into me, into keeping me alive against all odds. It's part of my shamanic journey meant that some motherfucker would keep trying to kill me, am I right? So there was that. So I've overcome it. And my spirit people were correct. The tribulations are over. It doesn't mean that bad things may not still happen from time to time, because that's life. But I feel like whatever happens in the future, I will cope better, or I'll handle it in different ways and maybe not get quite so fucking distressed or spiral under as I traditionally used to do. And part of that gnosis has come with the visitation from the snake, who taught me, when you're shucking off an old skin, Tanya, just keep very, very still, be very, very sanguine and very patient, and let the whole world blow up all around you if that's what it's having to do. Let everyone else lose their heads. You just keep your head and shuck off the old skins that don't serve you and remain calm and peaceful and let what's meant to be yours come to you in its own perfect timing with great joy and delight and passion and romance and devotion and sweetness and generosity of spirit and heart and mind and body, and if I can manifest it, the finances too, dear Goddess. But I'm saying that with a sort of a cynical little smirk because I still have trouble thinking that that's possible. 60 years nearly, and I'll be 60 in April, so 30 years struggling on my own. And let's face it, when I was married at 19, from 19 to 29, I struggled alone, even though I had a husband and, a roof over my head that was indeed freehold. I struggled because it was an abusive relationship. And I was surrounded by abusers, including, my mother. And there was so much ugliness around me. So really, I say that I've managed on my own for 30 years, but I've really been alone, struggling all my life, 59 and a half years. It's why I don't suffer fools and why I don't tolerate narcissists or psychopaths at all, because a long history of those, including my family of origin. And it's why I have a very, very fine hair trigger for abusers or toxic people. It's why I can overreact at times and get the wrong end of the stick. And I've worked very hard in the last 10 years of trying to deprogram those triggers so that I'm not quite so reactive, but every now and then it flares up, and it's a figment of my complex PTSD, and I recognise it as that, and it is what it is, baby. It's probably why I will be alone for the rest of my life, because it's hard. It's hard for people to comprehend. It's difficult to live with. And if I took a partner sometime in the future, it would have to be a man who's very, very patient, who understands trauma, and who loves me so profoundly and so deeply that he can overlook my occasional flare-ups and recognise it for what it is, as a post-traumatic response, or at times of post-traumatic growth, if I'm having to call out on certain issues that are causing me distress and nip things in the bud a bit. So the right man will forgive that and will understand it and will recognise it as not a personal attack on him, but just me having my little kind of Luciferian moments, Luciferian in the sense of that phosphor blinding light that flares through me from time to time and can look like rage. Sometimes it is manifested as rage, that says, no, this is not okay and this shit has to stop now, and if it doesn't stop, Latanya has to move on to keep herself safe, because I've worked too hard to recalibrate my mental health since I went off my psych meds in 2016, but in actual fact I've been in therapy for roughly 30 years, including self-healing. First 5 years of that I was self-healing myself with self-help books, which were very popular in the early 90s. So I've worked too hard to settle for anything or anyone who doesn't truly love me, treat me with kindness and respect, and it goes both ways. I realised last night actually, my friend Scott Saunders from Alter Egos isn't on Facebook, so he doesn't see all my my posts or my messages, and it's a little bit unfair. Like, I should be telling this to his face. But the man is time poor and very, very busy and has his, own family and his band and his own work. He doesn't need to be bothered with silly little Tanya Aaron's trivialities. But I'm reading this out again because I'm putting it out there that he should know this, and he should know it from my lips. It's an acknowledgement. He asked me back in March, actually at the Koala Tavern, which was one of the rare occasions that we were able to actually sit down and talk to each other face to face. And anyway, I was doing my frenetic wild 360, I shouldn't do that, ouch, mosh, and having the most wonderful time. And there was a man there, I don't know if he was an agent or a manager, or maybe just an acquaintance, a friend of the band. But anyway, I was conscious that in the break they all sat down at the other end of the club there. They were kind of, because I'm a shaman and I'm very sensitive to energy, I had the sensation, although I wasn't sure, that they were all having kind of a conference or a meeting about me. And I was very upset about it, to be honest, because, well, I'm sensitive. But I thought, well, I won't buy into it because it might not be about me, and why would it be about me? I'm just supporting the band as I've always done. But anyway, the young Māori man, security guard there, noticed Māori people were very sensitive and spiritually attuned too. He was a lovely young man actually. He noticed that I noticed that there was some kind of shift in the energy or tension. He asked me if I was okay. And I said yes, I was. I went outside actually just to get some fresh air. Wondered what was actually going on, to be honest. I'm saying this without any anger or antipathy because my friend Scott loves me platonically. He's a true friend to me, as does Juddy, as does Ness and Paulie and Luke and, from the bands. They love me and they want me to be safe and happy in my dance. So anyway, Scott, before they returned to go back on stage before the end of the break, he approached me at the table and said, I need to tell you, Tanya, you cannot do 360-degree mosh anymore. It's injurious and I don't want to be responsible for you injuring yourself. And if you continue to do the mosh, I will stop playing whatever song I'm playing. I will just stop. And I reached over and touched his hand and I said, don't be silly, Scott. You will do no such thing. I said, think of it like the Titanic. We're going down with the ship to the last note. I said, as a musician, wouldn't matter if my head fucking fell off. You must continue to play. He looked at me. My characteristic, defiance and rebellion, but also I don't like to lose agency over my own neck, body, mind and spirit, and my own dance. And I don't like to be controlled by any man, woman or child, but especially a man I'm very fond of and love very much. Wouldn't matter who that man was. I didn't like it when I was married. My husband was very controlling and I was young, so Can you imagine the blazing fights that went on? Because I was never one to be dominated or allow the abuse dynamic, and yet it escalated over the 10.5 years we were married anyway. So I'm looking at my friend Scott, and I said, no, you cannot, that cannot happen, you cannot stop playing. But I agreed that I would stop doing the 360-degree mosh, and it was so hard because it's a habit now, it's part of my soul expression in my dance. When I reach a certain peak in the dance, certain songs that I do that moshing to, I slip into it. I have to try really hard to not do it. So from March until, when did I start doing the mosh again? Well, I kept moshing, but just the up-down mosh and the side to side, but I didn't do the full head twirl is what I'm talking about. So I brought it back in quite mischievously, to be honest, and looking at him quite defiantly and mischievously with my hairy eyeball. He's hairy eyeballing me back. About a month or so ago, I think maybe in September, I started slipping back into the 360-degree mosh. And he tolerated it. He tolerated it because he knows Mama T's back in her own power. The only reason I went along with that request, which I know was heartfelt and done to protect me, because he loves me and he's a true friend to me. But the only reason I went along with that was I feared that that person, that agent or friend or whoever it was that I thought might be a manager or an agent, would create problems for the band if I continued with my Mad Mama T 360-degree whirling dervish, almost demonic looking mosh. And I love that band and all the players in that band so much that I would not willingly jeopardize their business, their band business. So I withheld it. But then I reclaimed it recently because I realised, well, that's kind of silly, isn't it? It's my neck and my mad mosh. And why am I allowing people to control me, even for my own benefit? Because it's the Bon Jovi song, it's my life, and it's now or never, and I'm not going to live forever. So there is that. Anyway, last night I wrote 2 bits of exciting news. Number 1, Juddy Jeffs is back to perform with his band Ramjet this Friday. So there will be Mad Mama T moshing in celebration of his recovery so fast. Squee! I really am excited about that he's recovered, and that he's back performing. Because I love you, Juddy, you're a wonderful musician. Number 2, my childhood friend Margaret, whom I've known since I was 9 years old. Pardon me, I met her when we first migrated to Australia when I was 9 at Caulfield State Primary School, is coming to Brisbane in early February. She's on a hectic schedule but has 2 free evenings, so we'll meet up for dinner and a catch-up. It's been years since we saw each other. Even louder, more frenzied. Squee! So then I commented, I may have to rein in the 360-degree mosh though. My neck hurts. Scott from Alter Egos will be hellishly mad at me, and if he watches my videos, he'll be sitting there going, damn straight, Tanya, I'm hellishly mad at you. And I'm like, yeah, I know, honey, you are right to be mad at me. Here I write, oops. However, it was worth it. The last 2 Fridays. By the gods, I flew and reached catharsis. When I say flew, I mean with my hair flying around, all the powerful energies that were flowing through me and to me and around me, and reaching catharsis is that state I reach in the dance that is similar but not quite to an orgasmic experience, because you've gone through all your what's the word? All your energy reservoirs, all your wins, and we as a collective, the band and I, whichever band is playing that night, have built the energy and built the energy and built the energy to the point where the Mad Mama T, the Tanya, is manifesting, as I call it, and they're manifesting with their guitars and their drums and instruments and their energy, and they're dancing too, and it's, as I said the other day, pure magic. And I take great delight in seeing my friend Scott dancing with his guitar, and Paulie's singing beautifully as he does, and Luke banging away at the drum, and the other Luke for Ramjet banging away at the drums, and we're all in this power surge, and it's potent, people. It's a kind of a healing, not just for the musicians and me with my crazy performance art dance, but for the people in the audience and the staff that are present. Everyone in the club is immersed in this energetic, intense healing. And yes, it means I sacrifice my neck a little bit, and it's a bit sore. But anyway, I wanted to acknowledge that. Because I'm a straight up woman, and if I talk about you, I prefer to talk about it to your face, but there's no opportunities for that, and this is how I kind of go about things in a weird way. But Scott knows there's no malintent to it, and he knows that in reclaiming my, well, I hope you know, Scott, if you watch my videos, there's no malintent to me reclaiming my 360-degree mosh, but I will be I will be reining it in according to your original directives, because it's too much for me. I have to remember that I am a little old lady now, and my feet hurt, and I can't wear stiletto shoes or boots anymore, so I'm having to wear really ugly, plain, flat sandals, and I feel really stymied, I'm stymied with my neck, and I'm stymied with my shoes and my feet, and I want to keep dancing until I die, but I'm having to make modifications to, how I do it without causing myself any discomfort or pain or injury. So I wanted to acknowledge to you, Scott, that I'm a defiant little bitch, and rebellious and carefree and wild, but I want to acknowledge that you were right. You were right in telling me to restrain at least the 360-degree mosh. But it's going to slip out from time to time because it's my soul expression. And I'm going to complain about having a sore neck from time to time. And that's on me. It's not a reflection on any of you in the bands or your managers or your agents or whoever's McJudgy and overprotective and worried about the Tanya. It's my life, and it's now or never, and I'm living my best life I've ever lived in my life because I'm in love. I'm in love with everything and everyone, fully conscious, fully aware that I'll be going through this life alone for very likely many more years to come if I keep living. Just a bit of a fucking drag in a way, but I keep choosing life because that's my spirit too. Even when I didn't choose life, something supernatural kicked me back into this life. So for me, there's no getting out of life card. I have to dance my dance, do the occasional moshing according to how I'm feeling on that night. And I won't be moshing the 360 on Friday because I'm still a bit sore. So, Juddy, I would have loved to do the full manifestation 360 in honour of you coming back to life again, your full vibrancy, my gorgeous friend. But I won't be able to. And Scott's in the background going, thank fuck for that. Thank fuck she's finally realised that. But if I should slip into it, don't be too hard on me. It's my spirit, it's my true nature, it's my wildness, it's my magic, and the neck can just heal itself as it does usually after a few days. Today's Tuesday, so it is what it is. Anyway, I was going to continue with reading the Kabbalion, but this has been a Mama T musing about my my performance art and my friends and my gratitude to still being alive, and my gratitude to my metamorphosing, and my gratitude to all of you who poured so much love and determination and courage and strength into me in much, much darker times than the ones we've just been through in the last 4 years, which as a collective was hard for you all because Mama T is used to walking through horror and shit and evil and putrescence. But when that happened to you, for the majority of you, it was the first time you experienced anything quite so draconian and terrifying and potentially life-threatening, and it was beefed up beyond. So a lot of you bought into that with absolute horror. I want to remind you that I was one of the few that said to you, we're all going to die, but not today and probably not tomorrow either. So don't buy into the fear-mongering. And here we are together, dancing our dance, my musician and singers, friends, creating their music and living our very best lives with our heads held high and great hope for the future. And I get to bear witness to that too. Not just my own blossoming and metamorphosing, but yours too. Goddess bless you all, always and forever. All of you, my darlings. I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud of me too. And thank you to Scott and Ness and Juddy and Timmy and Nathan and the 2 Lukes and Paulie for always, since I first met you in the music scene, for always having my back and for loving me in the most profound and astonishing ways. You've been a big part of building me back from my own background of trauma and fucking ghastly horror. And when I started dancing out in the music scene, Brisbane music scene, regularly, I mean, I was dancing out, about 2006, 2007, 2000. When did I meet the Courtmeister? October 2005. So in those days I was dancing at the Greenbank RSL, but I was fairly regular there. But I didn't start dancing in the Brisbane CBD area regularly until around about 2011, regularly. It was after I was healed from the horrendous grief over my mother's death. And so 2010, 2011, 13, 14 years. I've been telling Scott it's been 14 years, but that's not actually incorrect because I've been dancing out for longer than that. But I think I only met his band round about 2011, 2012. So there you go. So I owe an apology there, because if that's the case, 2012, then I've only been dancing for them for 12 years. But that would be correct, because after the little dispute, I bought my car and I went every weekend without fail, pushed myself out into the world and danced as hard and as fast and as triumphantly and joyously as I possibly could. And there was that 3-year window period up until 2015 when I was a little bit more sexually active too, because I was hoping to find a loving partner, and that never manifested. All I attracted were psychos and vicious, sadistic, cruel people. So by 2015, I'd had my suicide attempt in August of that year, and I'd made a decision that I would no longer indulge in sexual relationships of any kind at all. So I tamped that down, and here we are just over 9 years later, and I still haven't taken a lover, although there's been a few popped up recently, which has been weird and astonishing given how rudely they treated me a year ago. Because, like I said, there was this random person at the supermarket looking at me all hopeful and mischievous. Just kind of weird. But anyway, what I'm saying is it's the potential for me to take a lover is becoming more and more imminent, because I can see the attentions I'm getting and how I'm responding to it. Even a couple of years ago it would have been, no, fuck off, get out of my face. I was that hard-assed about it to protect myself. So, as I said in a video the other day, at this point in my life, this current point in time, I'm the most spiritually powerful I've ever been in my life, and I'm fully consciously aware of it. It's a bit terrifying even to me, what I've observed in my own videos, the random channelings and the power manifestations in my dance, and the deep, deep passion and love I'm feeling for some of my friends, and all of my friends really, but some in particular. I'm treading very delicately because that person is not available, and I don't want to upset anyone, because there's nothing to be upset about. We're only friends, and the love we have for each other is platonic and respectful and honouring, even of my fucking neck. So that love has been a soul nourishing, protective, and brought me back to life. I want you to know that, Scott. You've brought me back to life. And also my friend Judy. And also Ness with her consistent sweetness towards me. So you've built me back to the stage where I can see a potential to take a lover at some stage in the future, but it would have to be someone as loving and as honouring of my mind, body and spirit as you all have been. So, Goddess bless. And on that note, I don't know why I'm getting so emotional, because it's rather silly really. But as I said earlier, I'm proud of you and I'm proud of me. It's been a long, hard, grinding journey for me. And I don't think I would have made it without you. So, Charlie Blue kisses too just there. So I'll be back in a minute to read the Kabbalion. Love to you all. Bye for now.